welcome to Collision or Hit, WrestleMania or Wrestle Madness. We'll say Uprising, we'll say, Revolution or Uprising. It could be the TNA one. Hi everyone, I, Tony Schiavone, with Joey Styles and with Clarence Mason. And today on Collision or Hit, we have a good show here today on Collision or Hit. As we know, the TWF Women's Heavyweight Winnings will be on stake when Roxanne Perez, takes on Charlotte Flair. And as we know, Tony Schiavone said Charlotte Flair has won sundrious winnings, both on Raw and SmackDown and NXT, and has also been known to call herself the greatest of all the women wrestlers out there. And so, at the end of the day, will she win it again? And at the end of the day, will she win it again? Tony Schiavone says, giving to the grounds that she has won both the WWE heavyweight winnings and women winnings sundrious times, the TNA women's tag team, the WWE NXT women tag team, the WWE NXT women's heavyweight winnings at least 2 times, and has at least, held the WWE women's tag team winnings at least once. Well, Tony Schiavone says Charlotte Flair might be one of the very few folks in the Flair kin to go on to do great things. I mean, David Flair was alright. Reed Flair did very well and began wrestling until he died. And we all know that the other folks in the Flair kin chose not to go into skilled wrestling. But anyway, we can say that we know that Charlotte Flair believes that, that she'll always be on top and that she'll always win something. No need to be on Raw or SmackDown or on NXT or on Evolve or Forward, the newest WWE show, Joey Styles says. Well, I can tell you one thing right now, Tony and Joey. Charlotte Flair always calls herself a queen, but really she should truly call herself a Kaiserin. It's true she hasn't won the Queen of the Ring yet. That's something she hasn't, won. And it's true that she is at least a 2-time Kingly Thunder winner, at least the women one. And at the end of the day, she thinks she'll beat Tiffany Stratton at Wrestle Madness, either night 1 or night 2. But will she beat Roxanne Perez here today on Collision or Hit on our take, either for WrestleMania or Wrestle Madness or the Revolution or Uprising? So let's go to the ring and see what's going to happen. Clarence Mason says, really no one likes Charlotte Flair, no one likes Roxanne Perez, so who's going to be seen as the baby lair and who will be seen as the heel? Alright, Charlotte Flair says, you know the drill by now, folks. I've been in WWE for, since 2012, YL. And you know that I have won every winnings there is to win on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, how Evolve or Forward. I would have won shit on that show as well. And the truth is, either they're booing me or they're wooing with me. I must be doing something right if you're getting folks to, be happy or be angry with you. Well, let's talk about Roxanne Perez. Here's someone who, if folks think that I'm stuck up, then she must be more stuck up than me. She goes around talking about how she's done everything in 22 years of age, 22 years old, and she'll be 23 or is already 23, I don't know. But she goes around and talks about that she done everything like she was Speedy Gonzalez, or she was the Flash, or Sonic the Hedgehog, She goes, oh, look, I won the ROW Women's Heavyweight Winnings. I won the ROH Women Heavyweight Winnings before it became AEW's. You know, oh, look, I won the WWE NXT Women's Heavyweight Winnings 2 times. And I won a WNXT Women Tag Team Winning once. Great for you. But I was winning shit before you even got into skilled wrestling. I was winning straps on Raw and SmackDown and NXT even before you got into ROW, before you were in ROH, or before you were in WWE. So I think I got you beat with that. Is that so, Charlotte Flair? I mean, yeah, you won the WWE Women's Heavyweight Winnings many times. You know, some runs were short, some runs were long. You won the Women's World Heavyweight Winnings more than once. Some runs were long, some were short. You know, and hell yeah, you even won the WWE NXT Women Heavyweight Winnings 2 times. Hell, you even won a W Women's Tag Team Winning once. But I done it. Need be you were doing all that before me. But you can't say you did it all in a short time. I'm now 23 years old. You're like, what, 35, 36? So there's no way you could have done all of that, you know, in your first years of a skilled wrestler. Don't bullshit me. Your father Ric Flair couldn't win shit in 1 year that fast. Neither could David Flair, your half brother, that no one seems to talk about anymore. And not Reed Flair, your younger brother, who even he, as good as a beginner wrestler that he was, even he wasn't going to win straps that fast either in 1 year. But it doesn't care, because I don't really care what Richard or David or Reed did. Hell, I don't really care what you did. I'll beat you, Charlotte Flair, and then at the end of the day, you know, I'll still be the TWF Women's Heavyweight Fighter, and you'll be another one of those losers they booked me to wrestle against, either at WrestleMania or WrestleMadness or Revolution or Uprising if they're offshooting from WWE or TNA. It's not going to care which show we're offshooting from here today, Roxanne Perez. They don't care if it was WrestleMania or WrestleMadness. They don't care if it was the Uprising, you know, Revolution or Uprising. They don't care if it was WWE or TNA at all. I'll still beat you. Well, this match is for the TWF Women's Heavyweight Winnings. First, she is from Charlotte, North Carolina, 4-1 ranks. She is Charlotte Flair. And she is the TWF Women's Heavyweight Fighter, Roxanne Perez. Well, first off, we heard both women say shit about each other. Tony Schiavone said, and Charlotte Flair did one of the Flair kick and knocked down Roxanne Perez. Tony Schiavone says, I have seen Ric Flair do that many times. Hell, even Jim Ross saw Ric Flair do that many times too. And now, now Charlotte Flair thinks she's going to put Roxanne Perez in the fellow 6 instead of doing the fellow 4. Well, I can tell you what, I don't know if you're going to yield. Well, it's going to take a lot to beat Roxanne Perez, Joey Styles says. Roxanne Perez might have done everything in a short time as a skilled wrestler, but yielding to Charlotte Flair is going to be one of those things too. And some Roxanne Perez somehow got out of it. Roxanne Perez somehow just gave her the Pop Rocks, the Pop Stone to Charlotte Flair, Tony Schiavone says. Well, Joey Styles says Can Roxanne Perez cover Charlotte Flair, get the 1-2 free here? Well, I don't think so, Clarence Mason says. I don't think that's going to happen. Not at all. At the end of the day, I don't think that's going to happen. 1, 2, and a kick out. Well, sorry, Clarence Mason said, we can't get the shooter to go any more farther down than it is. So we're missing some things in the ring. Sorry about that. Charlotte Flair now took Roxanne Perez. And now, and giving her a chop. We also want to give those chops. We also want to give a shout out to Wrestling in the Van, or Wrestling in the Lorry, for he's going to do his show today, and who knows what Charlotte Flair is going to be ranked as. He might rank her as a queen in his sheet. Well, never know, Tony Schiavone says. Well, Joey Styles says Roxanne Perez is not going to give up without a fight, Joey Styles says. Roxanne Perez, is hoping to keep Charlotte Flair down. And if Charlotte Flair wins against Roxanne Perez here today, it will set the tone. It will set what's going to happen at Wrestle Madness night 1 or night 2 in WWE. You know, 1, 2, 3. Ding ding ding. Here is your winner, and still the TWF Women's Heavyweight Fighter, Roxanne Perez. And now Charlotte Flair, who's always had her hands up ever since we got her, last year, you can't be happy with knowing that she is not the TWF Women's Heavyweight Fighter again. You know? Tony Schiavone says. And knowing that, yeah, you can beat a Flair. You can beat Ric Flair. You can beat David Flair. You can beat Reed Flair. You can beat Charlotte Flair. But at the end of the day, they don't deal well with losing that much. And they will, somehow, I think Charlotte Flair will get even, Tony Schiavone says. You got that right, Joey Styles said. Charlotte Flair doesn't like losing any more than her father did, or her half-brother, or her brother did. So you know that she's going to get even somehow, Joey Styles says. Well, I can tell you one thing right now, Clarence Mason says. She might go on to win the WWE Women's Heavyweight winnings again, you know, in WWE. But she didn't win the TWF Women's Heavyweight winnings, so I guess it sucks to be her, Clarence Mason says. Hey, that's enough. Don't say things like that, Tony Schiavone says. Yeah, don't say that, Clarence Mason. Alright, we'll take it away, Gorilla Monsoon. Thank you, Tony Schiavone and Joey Styles. I'm going to be talking with Roxanne Perez here today on Collision or Hit, on Revolution or Uprising. Alright, first off, Roxanne Perez, you seem to have beat Charlotte Flair, and you somehow might believe that by beating Charlotte Flair, somehow you might think that makes you the world's greatest wrestler. Well, Gorilla Monsoon, it does make me the world's greatest wrestler. At least in my mind it does. I mean, Gorilla Monsoon, you did a lot of things in your life. I mean, you were a beginner wrestler, which became a skilled wrestler. Then you went on to be a play-by-play caller and a street follower and a booker for many years. And then you went on to be the unscreened four-setter of WWE from 9 between 95 YL to 9 between 99 YL. But you can't say you did all those things and get put in the WWE Hall of Honor look. You can't say you did all those things in a short time like me. No, you're right. I can't say that I did any of those things in a short time like you did. But I know that I did do a lot of things. But Roxanne Perez, it doesn't care when you do something before someone else did, or how slow or how fast you do it. They say if you did it right and you took your time to do it, and as long as you don't think you're greater than anyone else for doing those things. Yeah, but I did it in a short time. I started wrestling halftime when I was 6 years old. It wasn't until I stepped out of high learn I could wrestle full time. And I did everything in ROW and ROH and WWE in a shorter time than anyone else thought I would do it. So, Charlotte Flair thinks that she was going to beat me. Well, good luck with beating Tiffany Stratton, both in WWE and also WI in a WIV. Because you have a snowball. That's the only way you're going to be winning any. You might win the WWE Women's Heavyweight winnings in WWE. You might win the WIV Women Heavyweight winnings, but you didn't win the TWF Women Heavyweight winnings. Well, that's my talk with Roxanne Perez. Back to you, Tony Schiavone and Joey Styles. Well, thank you, Gorilla Monsoon, for talking with Roxanne Perez here today on Collision or Hit, or revolution or uprising. For Tony Schiavone, with Joey Styles and with Clarence Mason, we hope you like Collision or Hit, and we'll see you tomorrow for Power or Might. Ugh.